Hello, I'm David Magone. Welcome in for this Down Under on-demand yoga practice. Now today we're going to be specifically focusing on a series of stretches for your neck and your shoulders. So if you have some tension there at the end of the class, you'll be all set. Now today all you really need is a yoga mat and an open space on which to practice. So if you will, just go ahead and find your way to a comfortable seated position. I always like to start with some breathing exercises to clear the mind before we stretch. So if you will, just sit up really tall. And then close your eyes and redirect your focus to your inhales and your exhales. Note when your mind wanders, and whenever that happens, just redirect. Then lift your right hand to your face and place the tip of your right index and middle finger between your eyebrows. Breathe all the way in, and then breathe all the way out. Use your thumb to block the right side, and breathe in left. Bring finger to left, exhale right. Breathe in left. Breathe out the right. Breathe in left. Breathe out right. Breathe in through the right side. And then exhale out the left. Inhale right side. Exhale left. And then once more, breathe in right. Breathe out the left. And drop your hands and breathe all the way in. Hold your breath at the top and let your mind clear. Exhale. Then again, breathe in deeply. Exhale your air. And then one final breath retention. Breathe all the way in. And hold once more. Then finally exhale all of your air. Breathe normally for the next few moments. And as you breathe, think of someone in your life who could use some good energy. If you're open to it, join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. And send that person some love mentally. All right, then when you're ready, open up your eyes. All right, so to begin, start with your hands together in a prayer, and then sweep your arms out to the sides and all the way upward over your head. Once you've done so, place your palms together, and then draw your hands down so your hands rest on the top of the skull itself. Draw your chin toward your chest, turn your fingers down toward your belt, and slide your hands a bit further down your neck. And once you've done that, you can use your wrists or your forearms to press down on the skull. And as long as you sit up really tall, you get a really good stretch in the back of your neck. If it feels okay to you and you want to go further, take your elbows closer together behind your head and press down on the skull. Otherwise, just keep your elbows a little looser instead. And know that the priority here is that you're just feeling some stretch in the back of your neck. With every exhale you send out into the world, so let that gentle downward pressure draw your chin a bit closer to your chest. Now to transition, interlace your hands back there. Take your elbows a bit further apart, and then sweep your hands over the top of your skull and slide your knuckles underneath your chin. Press your fist against your jawbone. Lift your chin to stretch your throat. Take your elbows up to about chin height, and then take your elbows just a bit closer together to stretch your shoulders from that angle as well. As you hold some slow and expansive breaths. And for the next part, take a look forward. Release your arms down to the floor so you sort of look like a pine tree with your palms facing forward. Now, when you're ready, reach your left arm up into the air. I'm going to do my right so it looks like we're doing the same thing. From that position, reach all the way over and grab a hold of the right-hand side of your skull. And go slow with this because it's a little bit intense, but gradually and gently tilt your left ear toward your left shoulder. Now, once you find enough stretch in your neck, float your right hand off the floor a few inches. And as you apply weight to your skull, stretch strongly through your right fingertips until you feel a nice solid opening in the webbing of your neck. And as you hold there, some deep breaths as well. Release the pressure from your skull and draw your head back upright. Sweep your left arm down to the ground so that arm sort of looks like the bough of a pine tree. And this time, extend your right arm up to the ceiling. Now, when you reach over your head to grab, it doesn't really matter what you grab. Just sort of grab near your ear. Look straight forward and gradually tilt your right ear toward your right shoulder again. And once you've established some stretching in the webbing of your neck, stretch a little bit longer through your left hands. As the arm moves away from the socket just a little bit, you'll start to get a slightly deeper stretch. If it becomes too much, apply just a slight bit less pressure to your head. And some slow, even breaths as you continue to hold there. Draw your head back upright. And then once you've done so, take your right hand to your left knee. Slide your left hip back just a little tiny bit so your hips are no longer squared. And then initially, just set a twist. Rotate your torso to the left and gaze straight backward over your shoulder behind. What we're after here is the rotation in your neck. So just hold the twist as you are and gaze all the way forward at the front. Next, gaze as far right as possible. And then draw your chin down toward your right shoulder, which is going to give you a solid opening in your left neck. At the same time, slide your left shoulder down away from your ears, just like soap bubbles in the shower, sliding down your back. Send some deep breaths into the webbing of your neck. And then lift your chin, rotate off in the other direction. As you do that, slide your right sitting bone back just a little bit further. Your right hand can go out there to diagonal. Usually helpful to use your fingertips. Elongate your spine upwards so you feel nice and tall. And then initiate the twist with your spine. And once you've got to the point where you're getting a solid twisting in your back, rotate your gaze forward just like you did previously, but this time look way over to your left. Draw your chin down toward your left shoulder. Slide your right shoulder blade away from your ear and send your breath into your neck. Just imagine that your inhales could roll through the tension like a breeze blowing through leaves in a tree. And then from there, release. Now, with your neck loosened up, we're going to work into your shoulders next. So come to a cat-cow kriya position for just a moment. The shoulders stacked right above your hands. Once you've established that, lower yourself all the way down to your belly. And then prop yourself up on your elbows so you resemble a sphinx. And elbows right under your armpits. This time, parallel your forearms so that your right forearm is in front of the left. Gradually crawl your arms over to the edges of the room that you're in until your arms crisscross, a little bit like a dragonfly. Then lift your torso a bit higher away from the arms. And if you wish to deepen, let your torso's weight descend down on top of the arms themselves. An amazing stretch for your shoulders and your upper arms too. Relax as you hold. Try to keep your back leveled with the ceiling so you could stack a glass of water on your back without losing any of it to one side or the other. And aside from that, just let gravity do all the work. Get as heavy as you can manage. Soften your face and jaw as you continue to hold. And then lift your chest away from the floor. Now we'll come back to that on the second side soon, but first slide your arms all the way apart and then plant your hands in a push-up position with your fingers right under your shoulders. This time, reach your right arm over to the side. I'll do my left. Make sure your arm's parallel with the front of your mat. And then spin your palm up so your thumb faces back. That just sort of protects your elbow. Bend your left leg. Roll over onto the right-hand side of your body and attempt to touch your toe to the floor behind you. If that's too much, you can always just place one leg on top of the other. Otherwise, try to touch the heel of your left foot to the floor. You just gaze straight up at the ceiling as you stretch open the front of your chest. If it doesn't feel good to look at the ceiling, you can always look sideways or even down if you prefer. Then roll back down to your stomach. This next arm position is just a little bit different. Bend your right arm to a 90-degree angle, sort of like a saguaro cactus. And once your arm is bent, take your right elbow all the way down to the floor. And make sure that your elbow is about even with your armpit. Now this one's a lot more intense, so go slow, but keep your elbow anchored to the floor and really gradually roll over onto your right-hand side. This one will target your chest muscles a little bit more directly. Like before, look up, sideways, or down. Whatever's going to work the best for your neck. And hold steady there for just a few more rounds of breath. All right, y'all roll yourself all the way back down to the floor and prop yourself up on your elbows so you resemble a sphinx. Then we're going to get all that on the second side, so start out by putting your left arm in front of the right. If sliding both arms over simultaneously is a little much, you can do one arm, and if you lean over to the side, you can do the other one. Sometimes if you rock side to side, you can get a tighter cross. Just make sure that your arms are underneath your collarbones and a little bit ahead of your breastline. Level your back with the ceiling. Most oftentimes, your left ribs are going to pop up a little bit. And once you find a position that would enable you to put a tennis ball on your back without it tipping to one side or the other, lift your chest away from the floor for last stretch. or sink your body's weight down on top of your arms for a bit more. And some slow, steady breaths once you're there. If you find one spot that feels really tense, just imagine you could send your breath into the tension. And for the next few moments, just imagine your arms melting, softening. Apply just a little bit more downward pressure so the weight can help you stretch. All right, then lift your chest and slide your arms apart so you can place your fingertips right under your shoulders in the push-up position. Now, this first one will get your chest as well as the muscles in your upper arm, your deltoid. So when you're ready for that, reach your left arm all the way out to the side, parallel to the front of the mat or the room that you're in, and rotate your hands so that your palm faces up. Bend your right leg. Slowly roll over onto the side of your body. You can tap your toe to the floor, touch your heel to the earth, or place one leg right on top of the other. Choose the one that's going to work for you, and gaze either upwards, sideways, or down. Just apply some pressure till you feel some opening, and relax into the opening that you found. If it ever becomes a little too intense, just back out a slight bit. And now this next one is just a little bit more isolated. Roll out of the pose, but keep your right hand where it is. Then bend your left arm to 90 degrees. The palm rests on the floor, and the most important part is that you also want your left elbow touching the earth beneath. And this one's quite a bit more intense for most people, so go really, really slow and just roll onto the left-hand side of your body. Sometimes even rolling over just a little bit is more than enough for the stretch. Roll until you find a good degree of opening, something that's going to work for you. And breathe. When the tension in your chest starts to feel like iron, back off just a little tiny bit till the tension there feels a slight bit more rubbery, and breathe deeply. And take up any slack by spinning just a little bit deeper into it if your body allows. And for the moment, roll yourself all the way back down. The next one is the puppy dog pose. So press up to a 4-pointed kneeling position. In this one, you want your shoulders, roughly speaking, to be right above your hands. And you sort of play around with your knees. Most oftentimes, they're either below your hips or just slightly behind your hip joint. But you sort of play around with it. Find something that feels good. Now, you want your legs to be relatively vertical in this one. So shift your booty forward and backward until your legs look like tree trunks. And then walk both hands all the way forward to the front. Arms completely straight. You have a lot of control over this one here. So initially, with arms straight, press out through your palms and let your elbows sink a bit closer to the ground. Draw your chin down toward your chest. And then if you want a slightly deeper stretch, just keep sinking downward until your forehead touches the mat. It's also possible to put your chin on the floor if you wish. Or, if you prefer, just keep your head slightly lifted like me. Let your armpit sink toward the floor until you find enough stretch. And as you hold there, breathe. Slow inhales and really deep exhales. All right, then round your spine in order to lift your elbows. Walk your hands back to the cat-cow kriya position. And with shoulders stacked right above your hands, round your back with your exhales and press down through your palms. Arch your back in the other direction with your inhales. Lift your chin and your tailbone, and then continue on back and forth like that. Exhales to round, and inhales to arch. Some of the deepest breaths that you can draw as well. Whenever you press down through your hands, let your shoulder blades thoroughly slide apart. The next time you round, pause there, chin curl to chest, drive your hands down a little bit more. Just let your torso's weight shift from right side to left side. And through that shifting, open up a little bit more space between your shoulder blades there. Back rounded, hands pressing down firmly. All right, from there, come all the way back around and to a full seated position. All right, so one more thing for your shoulders for today. And plant your hands on the floor behind you with your fingers facing backward. Now, if you like, you can have your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders like mine. If you're feeling more flexible today, you can take your hands closer together. This one can be a little hard on your elbows, so bend your arms to start, and then just use your heels to slide your hips a bit further forward. And once your hips are settled back down to the earth, bend your elbows even more, and squeeze your elbows backwards and together as you hold. Straighten out both legs entirely. Well, if that turns into too much shoulder stretch, sometimes bending your knees a little bit will take some of the pressure off. And at first, with your elbows substantially bent, round your spine, depress your ribs down in the front like you're doing a sit-up, and just hold there. Next one is a little bit more back bending. Press through your palms, lift upwards to the base of your ribs, and roll your chin back as well. And that one, you can let your arms go straight as long as it feels okay with your elbows. Lift your chin, roll it back, let it rest on the muscles of your back. Big trapezius muscles up there at the top. Round your back, tuck your ribs down in the front, bend your elbows again. And with legs bent, slide your hips just a bit closer to your heels if your body allows, and bend your elbows again. Slide your legs all the way straight. And this time straight into the back bend. Press through your palms, let your collarbones and your chest lift. Round your back substantially. Draw your chin toward your chest. And then for the moment, walk your hands a bit further apart. Come all the way back up to a full seated position. And find your way to a cross-legged stance. Let your hands rest in your lap in some comfortable and supported way. And for the next few moments, just let your eyes close. Sense and observe all those cool energy sensations flowing through your shoulders and chest. And then as your body's energy continues to settle, one more breathing exercise to clear your head. Lift your right hand to your face and place the tip of your right index and middle finger between your eyebrows. This time, block your right nostril. Keep it blocked. Breathe deeply in through the left. Breathe deeply out through the left. And continue on like that. Big inhales through the left side. Big exhales through the left side. Continue to repeat over and over again. A few more rounds of that. And with the completion of your next exhale, drop your hand down to your lap. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. And for the next few moments, breathe normally. And focus your awareness on your inhales and your exhales. And then join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Remember the person you dedicated today's practice to. And as a simple way to connect, send them some love again mentally. And take a moment to be grateful for the gift of another day. Loka samasta sukano bhavantu. May all sentient beings everywhere experience peace.